Alright, so I'm just going to prep the car to install the aero. I'm going to lift it up. That way I can actually get my drill underneath, make life a little bit easier for me. But first thing what I'm going to do is I'm really just going to go around just with my, honestly, my waterless wash. And I think I have McGuire's. Let me see what I got here. Yeah. So, and quick detailer. And I'm really just going to, I already did the back. But I'm just going to go around and just clean up all along the bottom. I'm going to lift the front of the car as well too. But really just kind of go around the car, make sure everything's nice and clean. That way I can install everything. You know, and we'll just kind of go one step at a time. I think I'm going to start with the back, then I'll do the side skirts, and I'll do the front lip last. So, alright, so I'm going to start with the rear diffuser. And on the part that is that goes to the furthest under the car, you have these brackets that after you take out your spare tire, they line up with these two black like little rubber pieces here. And this bracket, what it does is, and you can reach under the car here, but this part is where my finger is tapping right here, is screwed to the diffuser, and it kind of sits like this. The only problem with that is the diffuser actually does cover this, but water can still definitely get in there. I do live in Florida. There is such things as hurricane season, and although that's just such a rare or odd place to somehow take on water, I wouldn't put it past my luck. So I am going to try and bend this around, and so it actually, so underneath is going to be flat like this, and then this piece here is going to bend around nice and tight, so it's flat like that, if that makes any sense. And then I'm going to squeeze this back in there, or even if I need to just trim just a little bit to get it to fit back, just to help with any water prevention. I have seen where people put it on the top and they drill a hole through the middle here, and then I think you actually need new hardware. I may end up doing that as well too, but I'm gonna try this way first and kind of see how it works before I start drilling into it and everything along those lines. So let's start with this and we'll see. Alright, so I apologize, I'm doing a voiceover because my GoPro audio decided to just not work. But I got everything up, and what I ended up doing was I actually drilled through the brackets in the center. I put a hole in the center. I just felt like there was much more support that way. It's not going anywhere. I actually tried to use the rubber housings and put the screw through the rubber housing, but it really just is too short. I do have longer screws, but they're just too long. So couldn't win, didn't feel like going to the store, and to be honest with you, it really sits perfectly flush. So I don't really see any water and stuff getting in there. So I think we're pretty safe on how I did it. Drilling through there was a bit of the pain in the ass. Make sure you use like a titanium drill bit or whatever it may be. But yeah, it ended up and turned out pretty well. Everything lines up absolutely perfect. So that's really nice. I will say that I also used 3M tape, which I'm about to show you again right now. Just kind of as like a buffer between the bracket and then the metal trunk itself. I don't know if it would have rattled, but just by putting that in there, I will say I've been driving the car for about a week now, and there's no rattling. Look at that, nice close-ups on that 3M tape for you. But there is no rattling, and yeah, everything fits really well. And then as far as the bottom, if I ever get there, you can see I have the two self-tapping screws there, and they truly line up perfect with the fins, the stock fins of the car. So you're really just kind of drilling straight up into them. Of course, make sure you use your drill. And yeah, they work great. I did not screw in the sides because there was almost about an inch gap, and I really would have had to like really pry and bend the diffuser. And honestly, I feel good with the way it is. You can't tell anyway. So as for the rear spats, they lined up perfectly, surprisingly. They have 3 large holes for your 3 pop clips, and you're literally just taking them out and putting the spats up, popping them back in. And then you have 2 smaller holes for right there and right there for your self-tapping screws, and they work actually horrible. The self-tapping screws that they provide you, which I'll show you in a second, are garbage. But I did have 2 extras of the black self-tapping screws from the rear diffuser, and I screwed them, or used one on each side right in the corner, and they worked great. So there was a little bit of sag, and it actually really tightened it up really nice. So there's the crappy self-tapping ones that were provided. So I would just invest in having some extra just in case. Alright guys, so real quick, again, I don't know if my camera just blows or if you can see that or not, but yeah, it was, let me go on the other side. I don't know if you can see or not. So, and again, it's super dark, but I will, when I take the car off, you'll be able to see. So, but yeah, really simple. You got the 3 pop clips. The self-tapping screws that it came with sucked, and right here on the corner there was a little bit of a droop, like of a gap. So the 2 screws that were extra that came with the diffuser, I put those in on the corner here on each side, and that solved that issue. And it actually looks pretty good. It's pretty flush. So again, you'll be able to see a bit better once I you know, get the car down. I can get it out and you can... Okay guys, so here are my side skirts from IKON. So the reason actually why I went with this kit is because nothing kind of covers the actual body. It's really just kind of like acts as like a nice contrast on the bottom. But yeah, so it comes with the each side has 10 self-tapping screws. So yeah, so and you're literally just spacing them out as you go along. It is a little tricky to have everything lined up. I would recommend having 2 people. I used honestly some gym equipment to hold up one end while I started at the other, but really not too challenging, pretty easy. Definitely lift the car so that you can get your drill underneath, make your life much easier. But yeah, those are pretty self-explanatory, and now we'll start with the front, finish up with the front actually. All right guys, so my GoPro decided to just completely stop working on me. Wouldn't charge, wouldn't turn on, wouldn't anything. Had to go to YouTube to get a troubleshoot it. But anyway, so I wasn't able to film doing the front lip here. So actually IKON really actually has a great setup for the front lip. There's actually 4 bolts, and I hope that I can find them for you. Hopefully you can see my hand, but there's one right here, and then underneath there's one right here, and then one right here, and then of course the other one on the other side, and they line up perfectly with holes in the bumper. So you're literally just putting the bolt through. They supply you with the bolts and the like nuts to hold everything in. You just have to drill everything out, so just make sure everything's lined up properly, and yeah, you'll be able to get those 4 into place first, and that'll hold the bumper in the positioning that you'd want. And then again, I cannot see, so I apologize because the car's dropped already, but I believe that might be a rivet or one of the self-tapping screws, but regardless, they have hopefully so at least 1 self-tapping screw there, but they supply, I think there was like 15 self-tapping screws that you can help secure everything just to make sure, you know, there's no gaps or anything along those lines. But yeah, I'm actually really happy with it. I was a little worried if I was gonna like it. I kind of liked the car, like with that clean look and no, you know, no lips or anything along those lines. But it actually looks pretty badass. So I'm kind of excited about it. So I was actually just at the grocery store, and when I walked back out to my car, I was like, oh shit, looks pretty aggressive now. So yeah, super excited. If you guys got any questions, definitely let me know, leave some comments. Please subscribe, leave me a like. Otherwise, you know, stay tuned for the next video. So I appreciate all the support. Thanks guys.